Office politics isn't a dirty word. It's not something that you should avoid. It's not something that you should ignore. And it's certainly something that can actually help your career advance if used right. I'm Ashley, the lead mentor with Mentor Me. And today I'm here to talk to you about why office politics isn't a dirty word and how to leverage office politics to your advantage. So often I hear people talk about, I don't do office politics, or it's the office politics that are getting in the way of me getting a promotion, me getting a raise, me gaining visibility in my organization, me being seen and heard and feeling like I'm valued in my organization. And I get it. There are so many misconceptions, one, about what office politics are, and two, about how to leverage them to advance your career, that they often get a bad rep. But on their face, office politics are not a dirty word. It's not something that you should avoid. It's not something that you shouldn't engage in. And office politics can be used to advance your career. And today I'm going to talk about 3 strategies that you can use to leverage office politics to your advantage, and how you can learn to implement these strategies at my upcoming event, Revive and Thrive. You can go right to my website at mentor-me.org to register for the Revive and Thrive 3-part series and get more information about how to leverage office politics to your advantage on the site. So again, the theme is sort of talking about office politics and understanding why it isn't a dirty word. And I know that this is a very popular topic among professionals because one of my most watched YouTube videos, it literally has nearly 10,000 views, is a video where I talk specifically about how to use office politics to your advantage. I have a little bit over 1,000 YouTube followers on my YouTube channel, but this video has nearly 10,000 views and is widely shared among a lot of career development communities as a resource to learn more about office politics. And quite frankly, I love talking about office politics because I see it as a secret weapon that particularly high achieving professional women can use to more effectively navigate their careers. But what I often hear is that people are trying to avoid office politics. Everybody thinks it's a dirty word. Everybody thinks that it's something they should stay away from. I hear all the time people saying, I don't like to play games at work, or I don't want to get involved in the politics, as if politics don't exist in every element of our lives. Politics exists in the drop-off line at your kid's daycare. Politics exists in your marriage and in your intimate partner relationships. Politics exists in your neighborhood Facebook group. Politics exists everywhere, and you cannot ignore them or negate them. You must engage in office politics or any other politics anywhere you go in the world. You literally can't avoid them. Listen, you can't even avoid them in your own mind, honey. They exist, they're there, and they're there to help you rationalize and navigate the world and navigate spaces. And the same is true at work. Work politics or office politics are something that just exists. And instead of trying to ignore them or avoid them or pretend that you're above them, I invite you to learn how to leverage office politics to your advantage. And again, I'm teaching a 3-part series called Revive and Thrive, where I'll be teaching high achieving professional women how to revive their career from feelings of overwhelm and burnout, and how to leverage strategies like office politics to build a career where they can thrive. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, if that sounds like something you would benefit from, I absolutely encourage you to go right to my website at mentor-me.org. Again, that's mentor-me.org to register for the Revive and Thrive event today. It's at the top of my website. You'll see it as soon as you go there. So I want to talk about 3 ways that office politics can actually help you in your career. And the first way is that office politics can help you build alliances. So often when it comes to career development, people like to think that they can go at it alone, that, they can just push through. And as long as they do a good job and show up at work, then everything will be fine and they don't need other people. But the truth is that we stand on the shoulders of giants. We stand on the shoulders of those who come before us. Legacy and tradition and the things that came before us do impact the way that we are perceived and seen in the world of work. And let me be clear, now, that's not always a good thing. There are lots of prejudices, there are lots of biases, there are lots of discrimination in the world of work as there are in the world more globally, and those absolutely impact how you're seen, perceived, received at work. But it's important to recognize that alliances, partnership, community is critical for advancement, for career advancement and advancement in every sector of life. And so if you are not engaged in the office politics, it's going to be impossible for you to build alliances and community and connection and relationships with colleagues in a way that helps you advance and do good work. Trying to avoid office politics or pretend they don't exist or downplay their importance is a setup for you to be ineffective and not in community with your colleagues. And again, office politics doesn't have to be messy. It's not a dirty word. It's not just whispering by the water cooler and cliques and clubs. Office politics is about an elevated way, a strategic way, an intentional way to understand the culture and the environment in which you work, and to leverage that information for your advancement and the advancement of the larger organization. And so it's really important that you don't ignore office politics or pretend they don't exist or try to minimize their impact, and instead lean in, sis, lean in to office politics and really understand how to use them. Number one, to build alliances, right? So the number one strategy that we want to learn and we want to better understand is how to leverage office politics to build alliances and to build community and connection at work. It's important to have relationships with key influencers, with movers and shakers in your organization, with people who can say your name in a room that you're not in, right? And so often we ignore those relationships or we minimize their importance because, I just don't want to tell nobody my business, or, I don't want people to know my business, or, I just want to be low key. You being low key is going to end up to you being low paid, right? The world of work values relationship, community, connection. And it doesn't mean you have to sit around all day and tell your colleagues what you did this weekend, but you do need to be invested in community and connection for growth and development, right? When we think about the most elite people in the world right now, so many of us are watching the Olympics. When we think about the Katie Ledeckis in swim, and when we think about the Simone Biles on the gymnastic floor, and when we think about Sha'Carri Richardson on the track, all these people have coaches, they have nutritionists, they have partners, they have people around them who are pouring into them and helping them elevate to their highest potential, right? So much. And let me be clear, I'm not one of those career coaches who believes in it's all about who you know. And in fact, I reject that notion because I do think that there's so much value in you building your skill set and using that as your calling card for a career advancement. And I can't ignore that community and connection and the leveraging of your good name are also critical to career advancement. And so it's critically important that you are intentional about leveraging office politics to build alliances and community and connection as you grow your career. The second way that you can use office politics to advance your career is for strategic visibility. I cannot tell you how often I hear high achieving professional women feeling like nobody sees them, nobody values them, their work, their effort, their insight, their outcomes are ignored. This is such a depleting and deflating feeling when you feel like I'm doing all the things, I'm showing up, I'm submitting things, I'm advancing the work. My clients, are getting great, output from me, but my boss boss, my senior leaders, my colleagues, my staff, no one sees the good work that I'm doing. If that's what you're experiencing at work, that's a problem of visibility. You don't have the visibility, you don't have the access, you know, no one's seeing your good work. And that's a real problem. I get it, sis. You learned along the way that if you just put your head down and do the works, eventually someone will recognize you, someone will say your name in a room, and you'll get the elevation that you deserve. But instead of waiting for the benevolence of other people to see you, it's important that you put yourself in a space where you can be visible, right? And people can see your good work, not just because it's good work, but because you've been intentional about visibility. Leveraging office politics helps you position yourself as a highly visible professional that's getting things done. And so often we are overworked and underpaid and undervalued and approaching burnout, mostly because we're grinding in a space that just can't see our good work. And so one of the things I want to invite you into is learning how to position yourself as an expert and gain the visibility of people who matter in your organization so that that elevation can really be seen and applauded. I was just on a call earlier with a vice president, and he talked about the fact that oftentimes when it comes to, professional development and growth, we like to give everyone a trophy. We like to say everyone did a good job. We really appreciate everyone. But he was really inviting us to really think about how we celebrate the rock stars in our organizations, how we celebrate those who are just a step above the rest, who are getting things done, who are highly visible and should be because of their good work. So if leaders in our organizations are saying, no, let's celebrate those who are doing good work. Let's give awards. Let's give, more recognition. Let's give more visibility to those who are going above and beyond. Then you want to make sure your work is being seen as someone who's doing above and beyond. And we want to make sure that that's leveraged through office politics, right? Trying to ignore them, trying to downplay them, trying to pretend they don't exist is not going to help you leverage them in the most impactful way. So far, we've talked about the fact that office politics isn't a dirty word. We've talked about what office politics are and the value of using them to elevate your career in two specific ways. One, to build alliances, and two, for strategic visibility. And the third way that we're going to talk about today is leveraging office politics for effective negotiation. You are able to effectively negotiate at a higher level when politics are on your side. People always say, make sure you're on the right side of history, right? And what people mean by that is essentially you never want to have a strong opinion or have a highly visible opinion that's on the wrong side of popular opinion or history, right? So when you're engaged in office politics, you're tuned in to the politics of the day. You're tuned into the organizational culture. You're tuned into what people are saying, what people are feeling, and the vibes, if you will, of work. And when you're tuned into that, it helps you more effectively be on the right side of history. It helps ensure that you're not going into a meeting asking for a raise when the organization has already said that they're doing a 7% reduction, or you're able to go in a meeting and say, hey, I need 3 new staff members at the perfect time because they just talked about wanting to increase hiring with diverse audiences, right? Knowing the office politics can help you more effectively negotiate. And if you feel like you're a poor negotiator, if you haven't had an opportunity to practice negotiation a lot, or if you want to be better at negotiation so you can get more of what you want at work, then I strongly want to encourage you to register for Revive and Thrive, because we're going to spend a lot of time talking about negotiation strategy and how office politics can help you be a more effective negotiator. It's a critical skill for professionals who are looking to advance. And without this skill, you'll constantly be negotiating from a lesser point, from a lesser place. And so I really want to invite you to Distance yourself from any rhetoric that would tell you that office politics isn't something you should be engaged in. It's something you should stay away from. It's something that you should pretend doesn't exist. That's a dirty word. Absolutely not. Office politics are here, honey. They are not going anywhere. And learning how to effectively navigate them helps you avoid burnout and thrive in your career. If you're inspired by this, if you're encouraged by this insight around how to more effectively navigate office politics, then I invite you to register for Revive and Thrive. You can do so right on my website at mentor-me.org. Go to mentor-me.org and click the link at the top of the screen to register for the event today. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to never hearing you say you don't engage in office politics again, because you know it's the key to avoiding burnout and thriving in your career. Thanks for watching. Bye.